Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 20th July 2016. The first article is related to the ongoing politics in India. Let's understand the left and its role in Indian politics. Initially, when India became independent, the only opposition party that was strong was Communist. Later, Communists got divided into Communist Party of India and Communist Party of India Marxist, CPI and CPM. And slowly, their influence on the Indian politics started weaning off, and they got themselves confined to Kerala and West Bengal. In UPA1's term, Communists have supported Congress, that is the UPA, from outside. Before that, during the Devegowda term, the actual opportunity went to Jyoti Basu. But however, Jyoti Basu, based on ideological strength or based on the ideological argument, he did not become the Prime Minister, and finally it went into Devegowda's hand. In this context, later, Jyoti Basu has termed it as a historical blunder. If the left would have accepted the prime ministerial position at that point of time, it could have led to the expansion of the left in the country. Now, we are in a time where across the Western countries, the left is showing its influence. If you take US, Bernie Sanders, and Corbyn in the case of UK, that's what are the left voices that are gaining the strength. So, but in India, the left is weaning. So, especially after withdrawing the support for UPA1 on India-US nuclear deal, the left influence on the Indian politics has decreased and it was reduced to a marginal party. Now, West Bengal, which was once considered as a bastion for left, it has lost miserably in the recent elections. And in this, the left and Congress, they have an understanding in the case of West Bengal, and they fought against each other in Kerala. And the best point is it has won in Kerala. Now, Congress is also on its weaning period, and BJP has become much and much stronger with a rightist voice. So in this context, a progressive leftist party shall provide a political alternative in the country. So for the reason of democracy and for the reason of having choices to the people, left has to have its presence in Indian politics. In this case, Congress is more seen as a centrist party. So left shall dilute its ideological churn, and it also has to get connected with the other political parties in the country, and it will provide for the space to left and also a choice to the citizens. That is what Joya Hassan talks about. Now coming to the BCCI and its reform, you know that the Indian Premier League and various other matches, they are being filled with one or the other form of fixing, the spot fixing or other forms of fixing of the matches. So it has brought a great disrepute to the game. So the betting, and when these issues have come up, a bill was filed in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court took the matters of BCCI, and it has appointed a committee headed by the former Chief Justice Lodha. So the committee has submitted its recommendations. It has restructured radically the administration of the BCCI and also insisted on accountability of this sporting institution. So in this context, what it has said is the tenure limit, the first one is. So all the members of BCCI, they are going to have a tenure limit of 3 years for term, and the maximum terms will be 3. And these terms cannot be consecutive. It means after the first term, there will be a cool-off period, and then the second term, a cool-off period, and the third term. The maximum terms will be 3. And people who are above the 70 years of age, they cannot be the members of this particular body. So it means the Srinivas and Sharad Pawar, all these are supposed to vacate their positions in BCCI. And one state, one vote. So with regard to the election of the members and the office bearers, the rule is one state, one vote. Previously, states have multiple associations that are recognized by BCCI, especially the Maharashtra and Gujarat. They had a greater say with regard to the office. That's why most of the people in BCCI are from these two states. That now, one state will have only one vote. If a state has multiple associations, the vote will rotate among these associations, which was contended by BCCI in the Supreme Court. And association members will be categorized into two types. One are full members and associate members. Now, the railways, customs, these members will be the associate members. And next is, the members, they cannot hold the dual positions or dual roles. It means if a person is a member of a state board, he cannot be a member of BCCI. And the next is, a member, or else what I can say is the ministers and bureaucrats, they are prohibited from or excluded from holding the positions in state associations or the boards. And apex committee or a governing council will be constituted. It will have the representatives from players, CAG, etc. And the number of vice presidents will be reduced to 1. And then a players association will be created, and this players association will be established and paid by the board. And the new offices that will come into existence, that is ombudsman, electoral officer, and also an ethics officer need to be appointed by the BCCI. To run the day-to-day affairs, a CEO will be constituted. So it means it's a total revamp. If you carefully observe, it is the BCCI's headstrong behavior that has finally brought the things to this particular end. And the blame has to go on none other Mr. Srinivasan. Now coming to a total clampdown, it is related to the situation in Kashmir. So after recent clashes, the mobile phone, TV, internet, and even the newspapers, they are stopped from circulating. And this electronic communication has got totally shut down and disrupted. Because of this lack of communication, the necessary aid which is being provided to the people hurt in clashes is getting delayed. And also it is creating a sense of siege among the people of Kashmir. Obviously, this kind of tough tactics will alienate the people of Kashmir further, and it is also against the spirit of freedom of speech, which is enshrined in our constitution. And coming to data. Now, let's see some background of this. From 2006 to 2014, India had 8% of growth. In 2013, the GDP calculations, our new way of calculating the GDP was brought in. Now, the GDP will be calculated at market prices now. Previously, it was calculated at constant prices, fixed prices. So, the second thing is, the data which is used to calculate the GDP, it will be collected from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The company is registered with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs and their submitted data. Now, 2014, it's a very turbulent year because of current account deficit, inflation, etc. In that year, as per the world record, it is around 4.5% or 4.7% of the growth India recorded. But when we have applied the new GDP measurement, it has become 6.7%. Now, the government claims around 7.6% of the growth. The critics argue that the numbers are inflated because there is no correlation between the credit growth. For example, when we had the 8% of the growth 2006 to 14, the credit growth is around 16% from the banks. It means for every 2% of the credit growth, 1% of growth has occurred. Now the credit growth from in 2014, it is only 8%. And the growth is claimed around 8%. It means 1% of the credit growth is bringing in 1% of GDP growth. But if you see the banking health, it is not sound. It means from situation 1 to situation 2, the only explanation can be better performance of the banking sector. But it did not happen in reality. So second is, index of industrial production, if you take, it is almost in 0.1 to 0.2 percentages. In from 2006 to 14, the industrial production is around 7%. So it means the IIP and GDP correlation is not occurring. Similarly is the case with exports. So that's why the government shall try to improve the real situation of the economy rather than the numbers. That's what the author argues. Next, coming to the LPG subsidy. Now, government claims that Aadhaar based, that is direct cash transfers linked to Aadhaar and giving it up campaign, these together have saved 15,000 crores of rupees from subsidies. Now the CAG report, what it says is most of the savings they have occurred not due to efficiency brought in by these programs, but it is because of the decrease in gas prices. Now coming to the Supreme Court judgment. Now lifetime imprisonment, concurrent imposition and consequent imposition. It means one punishment after the other punishment. Because lifetime imprisonment, it will be till death. So there is no point of having a consequent life imprisonment. So the court has clarified that the lifetime means it's an imprisonment till death and it will be concurrent, not consequential. That is what is clarified by Supreme Court. These are the articles for today. Thank you very much.